You give a quick introduction to our listeners? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yes. So my name's Sarah Pettitt, and I am in Southern Ontario. I'm a single mother of two boys, and fitness and nutrition has always been a big part of my life. It's something I've always been interested in. But when COVID happened, I hit a very bad place. At the time, I was married, and it was just an unhealthy marriage. There was a lot of emotional abuse and verbal abuse. And then, of course, with COVID, couldn't leave the house, couldn't see friends, and I just fell into this really deep depression. And I stopped doing anything I enjoyed. I stopped walking my dogs, I stopped playing with my kids, I started drinking heavily, eating just like crap, putting on a
Mhm.
ton of weight. And one night I just started crying out of nowhere, and I was like, this can't be my life. This can't be it. There's got to be more. So a month later, I moved out and I decided to just focus on myself and try and figure out who I was again outside of marriage. And I started making these small changes and it felt really good, except then I went so far the other way. I started obsessively tracking. I was working out literally every day. I would not allow myself to rest, and I ended up injuring my shoulder because of it. I was living off of protein powder and protein products, which gave me a bunch of gut issues. I had such low energy. I wasn't sleeping. I was avoiding social situations because I didn't want to mess up my perfect numbers. And I just,
Understand?
yeah, and I just hit this roadblock. Was like, I was so burnt out. I couldn't do it anymore. I ended up taking an entire year off because I didn't know how else to do it.
Mhm.
And then as I'm watching my weight creep back up, I'm like, okay, I want to get back into this, but I want it to be healthier. I want it to be more balanced, which is what I do now. And I focus more on whole foods and what I actually put on the plate instead of just hitting numbers. I work out at home, but only 3 days a week. And then I just focus on daily movement that feels good. And I've just found this really nice, happy medium that seems to work well for me.
And how long have you been in this like happy medium?
Um, Well, I went really hard for about a year and then took a year off. So it's probably been 3 years since.
Okay. Okay. And I only asked that because it's kind of funny how you talked about you went hard and then you took off and then it's almost like you reset your body because I kind of feel like you and I were kind of like in the same area with that because it was a few years ago. And it's just funny. I just bring it up because I think there's so many people who do that. We don't know the healthy balance because it was during COVID too that after I had my baby, I'm like, I need to do some type of fitness. I
Hmm.
wasn't able to teach my classes, so I would do virtual ones on Facebook, which people liked, but then Facebook started to like censoring my music, copyright issues, and I'm like, you suck so much. So, and you're trying to figure out like what's your new normal in that time. So I bought a treadmill, and I almost became, it was through iFit, and I almost became so obsessive with it. And I did find that runner's high with it. And I did enjoy the walking part to kind of start shedding that baby weight. But it's right. I became so obsessive that about 2 years ago, because that would have been in 2021, about 2 years ago, so I've been 2024, I stopped because then I almost hated running.
Hmm.
And that was that journey of the daily movement part that I started to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Because I can be a fitness instructor, but the problem, like the thing is with that is I'm teaching people, I'm helping people, and you're only focusing on yourself teaching, like I would say 50%.
Hmm.
So I started to get into my brain last year and I'm like, when did I feel my best after my baby? And it was like that treadmill, the walking, the jogging, the cardio, the intervals. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing it I'm going to start doing this again. So yeah, back in November, I started with my treadmill and it was just the gradual. Like I'm just going to start walking. I'm going to do it like 3 times a week, just putting it into just when I have time. And I got that bug again to run because my husband and I just ran the Ohio State 4 miler. And did I do great? Nope, but I finished. but it's one of those things, finding that balance. And you hate to say it, but it's almost like you need to go, you don't want to go so far to the point that you're going to hurt yourself. Because I was
Mhm.
doing that with the treadmill too. I got hip issues really bad and it put me with an ice pack on the couch. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. But it's almost like you want to see, you want to almost push your body to see how far it can go, but you got to find where is that spot where I don't go over, but I don't go too far under. I got to go where I feel comfortable.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, it truly is finding that. And with foods too, it's funny that you say you took the too much protein powder, because I started again last year with protein powder. Um, and I found one that actually like doesn't have all these sugars. It has monk fruit. It only has three ingredients, but we're always pushed to we need more protein. That's what you hear nowadays. We need more protein. We
Mhm.
need more protein. So people are like, I can't eat a whole cow to get my protein, so I'm gonna go the protein powder route. But there's so many different types out there. It's this constant like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But that's why you're here. You're here for the guidance for people because you have done things like that and you have seen going too far in one direction, not enough in one direction. How can it affect the body, not just physically, but mentally too?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I love how you shared that story, and I just chimed in there because I think so many people can relate their own personal ways with it. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Um, I want to know, so you created your own company. I don't know
Mhm.
if you mentioned, I can't even remember now, but it's called Radiant Rebel. So how did you come up with that name? Because it's one of those names where it's like I'm going to remember the person. It's a very direct, strong name.
Thank you. So it actually wasn't the first name that I picked. I had a different name and I didn't love it. I didn't like saying it. I was like, this isn't me. It's not right.
What was it? You have to share.
It was Empowered Mind.
Okay.
So
I
not,
can see how you went the other direction. Just your personality
yeah,
right here. I'm like, no, that doesn't fit you.
yeah. Um, so I'll be honest, I was actually like brainstorming with ChatGPT. I was like, help me come up with different words. But as soon as I saw radiant, I was like, oh my God, I need that word to be in it. And then I kind of pieced it together. But radiant, when I think of like the whole journey after my divorce, and well, when I think about how dark I felt inside of it, like inside before that, and then the, I guess, glow up, you could say, that I had
Yeah.
after,
Mhm.
I just feel like radiant is such a beautiful word to like encapsulate all of that. And then rebel, it's really about my just hatred for like diet culture and beauty standards. I know firsthand, I developed an ED when I was 8 years old, so I know firsthand like just how negative that it can affect you and how just overwhelming and overbearing it can feel to see it in your face every single day. So that's kind of where the rebel comes from.
I think actually I think that fits you very, very well. Just from this is because we've talked before, and just as I was kind of putting this together, like I said, I feel it through you because I
Mhm.
feel just that radiance come on you, and that's truly how you feel when you are happy with yourself, when you
Mhm.
love yourself again. It's this crazy, it's so hard to explain to people because they have to feel it. But yeah, it's that radiance that comes over yourself. And it's true. It's true with the rebel part. And I've lived through it being a professional cheerleader with the diet, with the look, with how you have to eat, is that forcing you to have to do something just so you can look a certain way and fit in with culture.
Mhm.
So I love how you broke that down because
Mhm.
no, that is great. So let's dig a little deeper. What makes Radiant Rebel unique?
So inside the program, it's a 12-week program, and it's perfect for the woman who cares about their health and wants more energy and wants to just feel better, but doesn't have a lot of time. And in it, so for the first week, there's an app that you download. Everything's inside one app. You don't have to bounce around all over the place or anything. For the first week, I do have you track your food because I find that we are creatures of habit. And if I can see 1 week of eating, chances are that's probably how you're always eating. So I can take that 1 week and really analyze it and break it down into, okay, these are the gaps. This is what we need to work on, break it into small steps. And that's what we're going to work on over the next 12 weeks together. Now I do also write a strength training program to go along with it, but they are 20 to 30 minutes max, perfect for doing at home because I know that you can see changes in your body without spending hours and hours in the gym.
I can
All
attest to that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need a couple sets of dumbbells and some mini bands, and that's it. You get video examples that you kind of work along with. So everything is just right there, super quick and convenient.
Mhm. Oh, that's fantastic. So do you take inspiration from like the different training videos? Do you create your own? Do you take inspiration from what you have tried, like online videos tried, and you know that their work that they're going to work and that people will be able to relate? Because I always find, honestly, it's kind of funny. Um, when I was scrolling TikTok the other day, there was like a 20 something influencer that came through. And I don't know what it is with TikTok, but the fitness influencers on there are just not, at least the ones that are coming to me are just not realistic ones. And I'm like, do not tell me how to get a flat belly when you're in your 20s and you haven't experienced children, you haven't
Mhm,
experienced hormone changes, you are not relatable. And it popped in my head. I'm like, people need to find others that they can relate to. They can
mhm,
relate to, like you're saying, one, short on time. You're a mom of two kids. You have a job. It's realistic right here. A 20-year-old,
mhm,
not going to do that. And then, like, body shape, too. Like, I'm not going to follow somebody, to be honest, that is tiny up top because they don't understand how I'm built and how those changes simple changes can affect me.
mhm.
So like what type of like videos or things like what's your inspiration that you find when you give somebody videos?
So it's not like full length videos that you follow along with but there are like mini 20, 30-second videos just explaining each exercise so you know what to do. And then I write, and then it's all written out like, okay, three sets of 10 reps of this, and this is the example, and it's, all broken down nice and neat. Um, but the program is actually the exact workouts that I do myself at home. So I am practicing them, I am trying them. I know that they're good to go before I send them out to people. Um, and then for for the structure, I like to do a lot of supersets because that helps keep it nice and quick. And when you're
Okay.
doing lots and lots of rest in between all of the exercises, next thing you know, you can have like a 40, 50 minute uh, workout, right?
Yep.
So I,
Yep.
I like to do compound movements and focus on supersets to really help bring the time down so that you can get the full workout in shorter time.
That makes sense. Yeah, because it's when you said just like before you know what the rest in between. Yeah, because I'll teach Tabata boot camp and I'll do
Mhm,
45-minute workouts, but that's true. The rest in between before you know it, yeah, it's a 45-minute workout. And especially if you're doing at home with distractions around, if you can push it um smaller and tighter, yeah, you're getting a good workout a shorter amount of time. So yeah, I can
mhm,
totally agree to that one. I like how you talked about too with the food, because one of the things that, is pushed a lot is to one of those create a healthy habit, give yourself 3 weeks. That's what they always say, like the thinking, the putting it in the first week, the repetition the second week, and then the third week it becomes natural. So when
mhm,
you talk about the first week with tracking your food, I mean, yeah, that's taking into account the weekends. That's taking into account if your kids have sports, because they're going to have that same sport every week. So if you have to go pick up your son from school and you're taking him to a sport, if you're going to get fast food that day, can guarantee you're going to get fast food the next week.
mhm,
So
exactly.
so I like that how you're like, I can already tell what you're doing in 1 week and let me help you from there. So when you look at the food that people eat, because right now I am using an app right now to track because I'm working with a dietitian on the Nourish app. And it's mostly just to see we don't want to track because that's where the obsessiveness comes in.
Hmm.
Those food apps can become obsessive. But yeah, it was mostly to see like what are you doing with protein? What are you doing with carbs? And wow, I was not getting protein. So it's very enlightening. So is that the stuff you look at is those ratios and then to kind of help somebody like I should say stop right there. How do you what do you look at in the first week and kind of like is there an example of a direction that you take?
Yeah, so protein is definitely a big one. I'm looking at how much protein you're getting in each day. Also, fiber. Most people are only getting half the fiber they should get in. That's something like across the board that I'm always seeing. So I'm also looking at fiber. Kind of like you said with the if your kid has a practice, like how often are you eating out? And when you eat out, are you using that as an excuse to like just kind of go crazy and have everything, or are you actually like kind of reeling it in and just picking and choosing what you actually feel like in the moment? I do also look at water. I have them track that for the week as well to see if they're getting that in. Um, and then yeah, just like you know, uh, how much variety are you getting in? Like, are you always eating the same meals? Are you bringing lunch to work every day, or are you buying lunch every day? Like, just those patterns that come up.
Okay. So it's more than almost the food. It's more just the habits of what you're doing to get the food. So it's almost like a
Mhm.
two-parter. It's not really what you're eating, it's what you're eating and it's how you're getting it. I like that part because I would have never really kind of thought about that. It's like yeah, maybe you're eating yeah, you're eating at home. Maybe you're doing a good job and you're eating your protein, you're eating your greens, you're eating some carbs, maybe some like roasted potatoes. But when you're going out, are you going right for that fried food? What can
Mhm.
you change when you go out to almost mimic at home? Oh, I like that. And I love the
Mhm.
fiber part because that is something that is so important because that is something that I struggled with.
Mhm.
And it's so enlightening. And I like how you focus on that more than just like the protein, the fat, the carbs. You dig a little bit deeper with that. Oh, that's perfect. And I think that that's
Mhm.
truly what makes your coaching program unique is really you're going more than just that surface level of let's just look at that. You're digging in deeper, and that's what makes it unique to women itself. So do you have mostly women or do you have men too
Uh,
in your coaching program?
so just women.
Oh, so it's just women. Okay. So
Yeah.
so yeah. That makes sense how everything is it sounded like everything was really designed for
Yeah.
that. Oh, nice, nice. All right. So we touched on that and this in the in the beginning, but we talked about how being healthy is more than fitness and nutrition.
Mhm.
So why do you think it's important to have a good relationship with yourself before trying to change how you eat and work out?
Yeah. So I don't know if you necessarily have to do it before. You can definitely do it like all together.
Mhm.
But it is a massive part of it that I think gets overlooked and not talked about enough because when I was going really hard, I did lose a lot of weight when I was being obsessive about it, but there was never a point where I was actually happy. I kept telling myself it's not enough. You're not doing good enough. You can be going harder. You haven't lost enough weight, even though I hit my goal weight. And like no matter what I did, I was not going to be happy in that moment, like in that process, because I wasn't, all I cared about was what I was hitting. I wasn't actually thinking about how I was
Okay.
feeling and how I was showing up. So when I started to get back into it after my year off, that's when I added a I added in like a mindset portion to what I was doing. And I started doing affirmations and I started this one always sounds a little weird. People usually don't want to do it because it's like, oh my God. But I get completely naked and I stand in front of the mirror and I notice what my thoughts are doing because most people immediately go negative and they feel upset and they're not happy and like, oh, this has changed, this is different, and so on. And I do that. Oh my gosh, my voice. Um, and I kept doing that, maybe once a week. And I tried to find a compliment or something positive about my body. And the more I
Yeah.
did it, the more my thoughts naturally went positive. And then through that, I was able to start talking to myself in a more positive way. and complimenting myself, and it really changed the way I showed up. And it also changed how oh gosh, what's the word I want? I guess just how happy I was with uh,
Yeah.
well, actually, I don't even want to say results because I stopped focusing on the results, and that was the big thing. It was no longer the scale, losing weight. It was just, do I feel good? Is this still, good for my body? Like, is there an injury? Can I do this workout? And really just showing up in a different way.
Yeah. No, I wanted to hear your story with that. Um, because it's kind of weird. Like the last 6 months, I went through something just weird where I would tell my husband, I'm like, I just hate how I look. I hated how I felt. I hated how I looked. I don't know. I think it's because I knew what good felt like. And it wasn't prior to Chase, prior to COVID or anything like that, because I know that that person, that me that was younger is not it's not going to come back because my body has just changed. The shape has changed, just everything has changed just as you get older, but it's learning to love the person that you are now. So I was like, what is like what is going on that I just need to get back to that feeling? Because if I don't feel like what happens like with me is like if I don't love myself first, which is funny because that was like the name of my website, my URL for a long time. If I don't love
Oh.
myself, then I'm right, then I'm not going to want to eat better. I'm not
Mhm.
going to want to push my workouts separately from when I teach. So it's it's weird and I talk about it on this episode because I was curious to get like your input of how you got to that point. And like I would say it's bizarre and you can call it vain and you can call it what you want, but I truly felt better when I just started wearing makeup again. Like I would just put on foundation and my eyebrows are albino white, so I have to color them in every single morning. But when I just started wearing like eyeshadow again, and I'm like, I just feel better. And then when I went to my hairdresser and I'm like, I just need you to add color in my hair, but I can't have it dried out. And she just did something different. And I don't know what happened, but I'm like, I love how I look again. And it was just simple
Mhm.
changes. And what's kind of been happening with that is that as I work out, I'm like, or as I'm like choosing foods, it's almost like the second nature. Like that cookie is not going to do me any good. I don't need a cookie every single day to be happy.
Mhm.
Let me pick, and I've gone back to eating I would always eat an apple in the afternoon. So I've gone back to that, what I did years ago. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just this like what I did to myself on the outside just made me feel better that now I'm just making better decisions. It's really bizarre how things operate.
I mean, I wouldn't say putting makeup on every day is vain at all.
Yeah.
But there's so much truth to that because I know when I was kind of in that rut, I was basically like living in pajamas and sweats and oversized tees. And like, I just felt yucky. And like, I was dressing the way I felt, I guess, right? Instead of dressing how I
Right.
want to feel. And once I started focusing on trying to be more positive and things like that, I absolutely noticed a huge difference in the way that I was dressing and like actually trying to find clothes that fit me and that I think look good on me instead of just I'm going to throw on whatever because I don't care.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I know like I've heard people say after they've had kids or they've gone through like say a traumatic event or a major surgery and they're just like this is how I am. I don't care. This is how it's going to be and you just want to shake them and be like no. You can do anything at whatever age.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
oh, I love that. All right. So, I want to ask you one more question. And this always stumps everybody, but I actually love it. So, if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be? And then same for your future self.
So my younger self, it would definitely be you are enough. You are enough. You are pretty enough, you were smart enough, everything about you is enough, and you don't have to be someone else. My future self, I don't know if I would really tell her anything. Just my hope is that I never stop and that I just keep going and keep growing and keep just building this life that I love. So I don't know what I would tell my future self. I just want to see what's in there, what is in the future.
The doors are open and you are just going to drive that car and take it where you go. Oh, that's great. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being on the Fitness and Family podcast. So before we sign off, where can people find you?
So Instagram is definitely the best place. My handle is the Sarah Pettitt. And absolutely come give me a follow or shoot me a message. I love to talk to people.
Perfect. And I'll add all that stuff in the show notes too. But yes, I love like following your reels. They're raw, they're genuine. It's just you on a daily basis, whether you're just walking around and it's just you're very relatable. Everything you
Thank you.
said, it just always like triggers and I'm like, yep, yep, been there. I can see that. Absolutely. So, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
You too.